The San Francisco 49ers heading south to take on the Los Angeles Rams. 49ers at 1-1. The LA Rams sitting at 0-2. This game is at SoFi Stadium, 1:25 p.m. kickoff time on Fox. Adam Amin and Mark Sanchez on the call. I'm going to try quickly here to pull up my distribution map as I once again forgot to do so. And I'll just comment again what color it is, but we'll see where the game will be shown. Adam Amin, Mark Sanchez, Christina Pink on the sideline. If you are heading out to the game, high of 78 on Sunday in Los Angeles, or in Inglewood more specifically, and all game will be sitting mid-70s. By the way, I saw this little video. I don't know where it came from, but it was like a robot voice or whatever, and it was like, did you know that the most expensive stadium in America doesn't have AC? Talking about SoFi Stadium. It's like, yeah, because there's no walls, dude. Get it together. If you're betting on this game, Rams plus 7.5 for this game. That is wild. Plus 290 if you are on the money line. Over and under 43.5. So what we're watching in this one, this is a game that truly is going against a powerful opponent, but will tell us exactly who this Rams team is. Based on what happened last week in Arizona, how is this team going to bounce back? I don't care how many starters are out or how many superstars you have on IR or how many people are going down. These are still NFL players, and how are they going to respond to that? Are they, more experienced or more prepared? Whatever, maybe. But either way, these are still NFL players, and we've got a great coaching staff. So I'm anticipating a much stronger performance. Win or lose, we're kind of like in a situation right now where it's like, hey, we're so beat up that like we're going to lose some games, all right? That's just the way it's going to be. Obviously, we want to beat the 49ers more than anything. But we're looking at it right now in a situation where I just want to see some fight in this team. The way that this Rams team looked last week, we really just need some fire out of this team. Just some passion going into this one. We absolutely need to see it. And if we get rolled by 2 division opponents in a row, yeah, it's over. All right. So I won't say it's over going into week 3, but if we get smoked back-to-back by division opponents, yeah, it's probably over, right? It's going to be that's a tough bounce back, and that takes a long time to kind of re-energize your locker room and get everybody back on track for that. Like, obviously, it's a weekly business. No one's looking at the Bears game yet. Everybody's just focused in on, taking on the 49ers at SoFi Stadium on Sunday. But either way, we're kind of looking at a situation right now where it's just going to be tough, and we just need to see some fight. Because if you fight, you will win some games, especially teams like the 49ers, who we've seen this Rams team be able to fight before. All right, and then the Chicago Bears next week, very winnable game. The Green Bay Packers coming the week after that to SoFi Stadium, winnable game. Raiders, winnable game. Then who after that? Minnesota. Winnable game, for sure. Seattle, winnable game. So, like, these are things that we could put together, but we got to just see some fight. If you battle in these games, we could absolutely see that happen. I forgot to do pants picks as far as what Payo Time and Rams House have said. So while I'm editing, I'll reach out to them. So what you see on screen will be correct as far as what their picks are and our records. As last week, Payo Time coming in clutch with the Royal Pants picks, dude. So I thought I was very convinced, Bone. That is not the case. That's not what happened. But either way, this week Rams are in white. And we'll see what everybody's picks happen to be, because I don't have that information as I'm talking, but you have it on screen. Let's take a look at the matchup in this one. The Rams offense against the 49ers defense. One thing to keep your mind on as we still talk about these averages up until like the bye week. These don't mean so much, all right? So as we take a look at it, though, Rams offense is tied for 13th in the NFL. The 49ers defense is on the lower end there, 19th in the league in total yards given up. Passing the football, the Rams are 5th in the NFL. Matthew Stafford getting it done through the air for sure. Tied for 22nd for the 49ers defense defending the pass. Running the ball, the Rams are really not getting anything going here. Just 68 yards a game, 31st in the NFL, which, first of all, there's somebody doing worse than 68 yards a game. Guys, get your life together. 32 is a loser. And then 107 for the 49ers. So that's 12th in the league. Points being put up. Rams scoring about 15 a game. Tied for 27. 21 giving up a game for the for the 49ers. That's tied for 15th. And then third down, Rams on the back end here, 25th ranked, but 49ers sitting 31st ranked against third down on defense. So some notes we're looking at here. I know that the line is beat up. In fairness, though, like we do have 3 of our starters in. Sure, we don't have 2 of our starters in, but we have more than half, and I'll take that. It's better than it's been, all right? And having A.J. Jackson back, I think, is absolutely massive. We have both of our starting tackles, and that's huge. K-Dot in the middle, Bo Limmer's looking decent, and then you got Logan Bruss, who's got something to prove at that left guard spot. I don't feel terrible about it, man. I don't feel terrible about it, but these guys are going to need to get some holes opened up for the run game because Kyron Williams is not getting it done right now. Just 75 yards on the year, and then Blake Corum really just hasn't really been given an opportunity yet. But it sounds like, based on McVay's comments this week, that is something that we will start to see is Blake Corum get involved a little bit more on the offense. But 2.45 yards per carry. Obviously, you're not going to try hammering it when that's the situation. But we've got to stick to it. We've got to stick to the run game. McVay is very quick to abandon the run game. Still is. That's kind of one of his faults. No coach is perfect, though. I know some people kind of are harsh on McVay, but I mean, he's the best coach this team's ever had. So I tried to lend a little bit of grace, I suppose. But overall, I mean, he's not perfect, man. He's going to make some mistakes, but he's an incredible coach. Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua being down, I think, are the worst of all of the missing offensive pieces now, because their abilities in this offense are very, very critical in how the entire thing is run. The way that Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua can block, the way that they run their routes, something that other guys just can't do. They're just not at that level. And also the connection with like Kupp and Stafford. That's a massive drop-off. Losing Kupp, Stafford now doesn't have that guy that he's just like got that connection with, you know what I mean? And Puka too, obviously, but that I think is the biggest thing. Tyler Johnson does seem to be finding his role, so that could be very beneficial to the Rams, but D-Rob also could be carving out a nice little role as we wait for the other guys to return. Jordan Whittington truly has a time to shine right now, and if he is that guy, this is kind of the perfect time to show up and do it, man. Like Puka went off week 1 last year. All right, who's to say Jordan Whittington is not the next guy that can do that? What if Whittington comes in, he gets, 11 catches for like 160 yards, 2 touchdowns, and it's like, oh no, the Rams are fine. Like, not only are they fine, they are going to be so scary when everybody comes back, kind of thing. Like, I just don't think that that's an impossibility. Whittington also, by the way, on Rams Revealed, maybe the best episode of Rams Revealed ever, and I don't want to fall into like recency bias because there's been some really good ones on there. But Jordan Whittington on there, that was one of the most authentic and raw ones I think we've seen. As he kind of like, there's moments in there where he's kind of getting choked up and stuff like that. The way he's talking about his mother and stuff. It's one of those where you leave that being like, I want this guy to do so well, man. Like, I'm rooting for this kid so hard. And his story too, his football journey alone is just one of endurance and one of just, of that tenacity. And we want a guy like that on our squad, and we've got him. So that's absolutely awesome. Now he's getting the opportunity to actually get some reps. So rather exciting stuff, man. I'm really excited to see what Jordan Whittington does this year. Also, name we haven't really talked about a lot, Tutu Atwell. The Tutu train, he might be asked to be a little bit creative in his role with some of these guys out, as we could be seeing him with a lot of the jet sweep motions. I'm thinking that that's kind of where he could slot in this gap where we're going to be down Koopa and Puka. So something to keep our eyes on there. We've seen so many flashes from Tutu, but the consistency is something we haven't seen yet. So hopefully we can, maybe this is a good opportunity for him to get those reps and also just kind of solidify himself as a contributor on this offense. And again, what if Johnson, D-Rob, Whittington, and Tutu all become awesome, and then we get Cooper and Puka back? You know what I mean? What if, dude? And we also don't have our starting tight end yet. I mean, just going to throw that out there. So best matchup, Rams offense versus the 49ers defense. I'm going to go with the Rams tackles against Leonard Floyd and Nick Bosa. These are guys who can definitely wreck the day a bit, especially without having Kupp and Puka. Those guys help a lot in that kind of stuff. But to be able to help out 9 a little bit, we're going to need our tackles to just have a good day. All right. A.J. Jackson and this is his first game back, so he might have some cobwebs, but definitely a big improvement over what we've seen from the left tackle spot over the first 2 weeks. And then Big Rob holding it down at right tackle. Obviously, we know what he brings to the table, leadership, and just an awesome right tackle. I mean, what more can you say about Big Rob, dude? I mean, the dude's incredible. Final remaining St. Louis Ram on the roster, and he's doing big things, man. Big Rob is awesome. One of my favorite players. The guy's jersey in my closet, man. That guy's absolutely awesome. Big fan of Big Rob. Next up, 3 to C on the Rams offensive side. I'm going to start with Blake Corum. It does feel like McVay wants to start getting Blake more involved into the offense. Maybe to try to spark the run game a little bit because, again, 2.5 yards a carry. We're dealing with 75 yards for Kyron Williams on the season so far out of 2 games. So we just need a spark there. So Blake Corum will be one to watch. We did see him late in the game last year, and of course those were against some depth guys for the Arizona Cardinals, but we did see some stuff there. But obviously the entire mood of that point of the game, I mean, no one's really fighting that crazy. So obviously you get a Niners week coming in here, and everybody should be at least fired up. If you need to help get fired up for this game, you're in the wrong sport, dude. This is kind of what we live for a little bit. Next up on the 3 to C, I'm going to package this one in as Tyler Johnson and Demarcus Robinson. We need these guys to play to their potential if we're going to string together some dubs, all right? And then we get some other guys back, but if these guys can kind of start to find a rhythm now, then that would be obviously huge. Tall task this week, but definitely not impossible. And maybe being a little bit overlooked by the 49ers, kind of like the Cardinals were from the perspective of the Rams. I do think that we overlooked them a little bit. I think it was one of those where it's like, we always beat these guys. We'll be fine. And then we didn't. Not only did we not, we got smoked by Arizona, which doesn't happen very often. I mean, congrats to them and stuff, but it just didn't feel like a good Rams day, you know? Last year on the 3 to C, Rams offense, going to be Logan Bruss, that left guard. It sounds like he's going to be the starter at left guard based on what we heard from like the McVay show this week and stuff. But latest guy to get a shot because of injuries. Is he up for the task? We are about to find out. Jonah Jackson, though, officially added to IR along with John Johnson. So we are down those guys right now, and Jonah Jackson will be the starter when he comes back. But if Logan Bruss can show that he is developing like we kind of saw in preseason, especially that first game, then maybe we could be okay. All right. And that's kind of what my point on the entire offense is like. Yes, it's like Cooper, Puka, and then you lose your starting center, Avila, who's incredible, Jonah Jackson, who's awesome, and we're down Tyler Higbee still. It's like, yeah, those are really good guys that we're down right now. But also Demarcus Robinson, Tyler Johnson, Jordan Whittington aren't bad players by any means. Colby Parkinson isn't a bad tight end. Davis Allen could be back this week. He's not a bad tight end. And on the interior, off the offensive line, Bo Wimmer, we're asking him to do a lot. 6th round rookie center, and we're like, hey, we need you right away. By the way, you don't get practice time. Go play, you know? And then we bring in Logan Bruss. Like, who knows, man? I just don't, I'm not as down on the team as I think others are. I know we're down a lot of like really good players right now, but I also think going into this year, we had good depth. And I think that this is the time right now where we should showcase it or can showcase it. We have the ability, the opportunity to showcase our depth. And so I'm hoping that that's what we see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe our depth isn't that good. Maybe I'm a little biased. Maybe I kind of follow the Rams too closely. And I think all of these guys are awesome. Maybe. I don't know. We'll find out, I guess. Let's flip over to the other side. 49ers offense against the Rams defense. 49ers offense definitely getting it done. They're 3rd in the league in total yards. Rams defense after last week, 32nd in the league in total yards given up. And passing the ball, 3rd again for the 49ers offense, 24th against pass for the Rams defense. Again, that's a young secondary that's brand new to each other. So I'm thinking we're going to need some time to gel there. Johnson being down does not help. Running the ball, almost a top 10 unit for the 49ers offense. And the Rams defense, 30th in the league, giving up almost 200 a game. Also giving up over 33 points a game. That is 31st in the NFL. Again, somebody else giving up more than that? Guys, get it together. And 20th in the league on points being scored for the 49ers, putting up a little over 24. 3rd down, the 49ers offense is 20th in the league, and Rams defense, 28th in the league. So nothing that jumps out too crazy there as far as like matchups we gotta watch or anything like that. I just think that these averages are skewed, all right? I don't think the Rams have the worst defense in the league. I just don't, all right? We have young secondary guys who have not played that much football together yet, so we need to get them some continuity. Our inside linebackers didn't know that they were going to be starting inside linebackers until like 6 days before the season started, so you got to consider that. And then just the youth up front in the front seven entirely. I mean, obviously your edges, super young, Verse and young, literally young. And then Turner, Bobby Brown's like the seasoned veteran there. But then Braden Fisk as well. These guys just need to get used to the NFL level, and I firmly believe that. I'm not thinking that these guys are like cooked or anything like that. So, some notes on this side here. So the Rams defense, let's not sugarcoat it. We got smoked last week. All right, the averages will be off. But that's fair. I mean, when you have a game like that, especially this early in the season, it's just what happens, all right? Jared Verse and Braden Fisk were pulling off some pretty sick stuff last week, and it really shows their continuity with each other. And some plays really should have been pretty big sacks. Fisk had one where Verse kind of came in on the stunt and ate both blockers, and then Fisk was free, but then Kyler shook him. And then there was another one where Verse got in free and had 2 shots at Kyler and didn't get him. And it's like, dang it, dude. Like, I know you're a rookie and I know he's fast and squirrely and stuff, but you got to make that tackle, man. But either way, they're getting close. Verse especially is right on the cusp of so many big plays, and it's just a matter of time before that starts happening. Akello might be to play here to try to spark something in the secondary as well, especially with Johnson going down. Could use a little bit of a veteran leadership person in that regard. After a strong week 1, the inside linebackers did seem a little bit lost in week 2, both Roseboom and Reeder. So not really sure what happened there, but we do need to correct that quickly, especially a team like the 49ers who are going to get creative. They're going to have a lot of different stuff to look at. And their backup running back to CMC, Mason, is looking really solid, actually. So obviously a drop-off. CMC is a very talented back in this league, but he's the backup Mason is also, he's doing a great job. So something to keep our eyes on for sure. No Deebo, by the way. Ayuk with something to prove. Could we be seeing another Marvin Harrison situation where we kind of, I feel like, underestimated guy? I don't think we underestimated Marvin Harrison, by the way. I just think we did a terrible job against him. I didn't see anything that he did there. I was like, oh, man, this guy's good. It was one of those of like, what are we doing out here? You know? So cover that guy is what I'm trying to say. Ayuk, they're probably going to force it a little bit to Ayuk. So let's cover him up. Best matchup on this one is going to be Quentin Lake versus George Kittle. Tough matchup here. But with Lake in that role, we'll see him a lot. We're going to see that matchup a lot. Quietly had a really good day last week and could surprise some people this week as, of course, Purdy is going to be trying to get the football to George Kittle. So Quentin Lake has the opportunity to kind of showcase why he's got that C on his chest. And I'm kind of here for that. 3 to C on the defensive side, Jared Verse. Dude is getting so close so often. And it's just a matter of time before he starts getting home, and it would be a good time to start getting home against Brock Purdy and the 49ers offense in our home opener. First time the home crowd gets to see these boys, so put on a show, dude. And Verse, man, I like this one. This feels like the game where we can kind of start to see him kind of start to take off a little bit. Next up, I'm going to go with Trey White. Not making the impact that I had hoped for yet. I'm adding the yet. But maybe a few games into our defense, man. Maybe that's all he needed. Maybe he just needed to get into the rhythm a little bit more. So I'm excited to see what he can do. And I'm not throwing in the towel on anybody just yet. But Trey White definitely feels like we should be a little bit more the defending the passes, man. I mean, just we gotta knock some of those down. It feels like they're all getting by him, and close, but you just got to be able to make that play. So next up here, last one is going to be Cam Kinchins. With Johnson going down, we are expecting more of Kinchins in this defense, and he will be asked to take on a pretty tough spot, as John Johnson was also playing incredible football before he went down. But this is my number 1 candidate for guy who could explode due to injury. Cam Kinchins and Logan Bruss are like the top of my list there of like, what if, dude? What if these guys come in and are killer against the 49ers? That would be rather exciting, right? And again, not saying guarantee, I'm not making predictions here. I'm saying it's not impossible, and I think it would be really cool to see, man. Who knows? Maybe Cam Kinchins is like the next Hall of Fame level safety, and he's just been like only in here and there, and he just needs a full game to get out there and just start cracking some skulls. And, well, we'll see. Crushing souls and cracking skulls, dude. It's been a while since I've said crushing souls. I wonder what happened with that, man. We'll bring it back. We'll bring it back around. Roll it back. Let's take a look at some matchups in this one here, or some connections, I should say. So former Rams, who are currently on the 49ers, defensive coordinator Nick Sorensen. He was a Rams DB coach early 2000s. Assistant head coach Brandon Staley. He was the 2020 defensive coordinator. And we have Leonard Floyd. He was with the Rams from 2020 to 22, so has a Super Bowl ring that he definitely didn't get with the 49ers. He hasn't been playing that long. Anybody who has a Super Bowl ring from the 49ers retired years ago, so there's no actives there. And quarterback Brandon Allen, he was sitting on the bench behind Goff in 17 and 18. Former 49ers, currently on the Rams. We'll start with quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo, quarterback of the Niners, 2017 to 2022. And his first game back, actually. So he will be on the bench for the Rams QB2 behind Stafford. Offensive coordinator Mike LaFleur, safety coach Chris Beek, and Yarbs, wide receiver coach Yarbs. He was out there in 03-04. Some NFL connections, didn't really see any that jumped out to me that were super, super dope or anything. So nothing crazy. Trey White played in Buffalo with Leonard Floyd. So two Rams that never played together as Rams, but played in Buffalo together. And then Matthew Stafford played in Detroit with Alex Barrett and Tracy Walker. D. Will played in Jacksonville with offensive lineman Ben Barch. Barch sounds like if you ever seen The Good Place and like how they replace curse words with things. That's what I think of when I hear Ben Barch. I don't know. Next up, college connections. Safety, Cam Curl played at Arkansas with Drake Greenlaw for 2 years. Kyron Williams played at Notre Dame with offensive lineman Aaron Banks. Darian Kendrick, Stetson Bennett, Warren McClendon played at Georgia with Robert Beal Jr. Blake Corum played at Michigan with wide receiver Ronnie Bell. Ambry Thomas and Drake Nugent. Connor McDermott played at UCLA with offensive lineman Jake Brendel. Yarbs was also a coach over at UCLA at the time. Troy Reeder played at Penn State with Kevin Givens, defensive lineman. And Braden Fisk, Jared Verse, they both played at Florida State with linebacker Tatum Bethune and Renardo Green. Safety, Jalen McCullough, undrafted rookie for the Rams this year, played at Tennessee with wide receiver Juwan Jennings. A.J. Jackson played at Iowa with George Kittle. We talk about that one yearly. Kobe Turner, Wake Forest with safety Malik Mustafa. Jake Hummel played at Iowa State with Brock Purdy, another yearly one. Joshua Carty and Colby Parkinson played at Stanford with Curtis Robinson and Drake Nugent. John Johnson played at Boston College with Isaac Yadam. So those are your connections there, man. Some pretty interesting connections as far as college goes. Those NFL ones, though, a little bit thin. Some milestones we are keeping our eyes on heading into this week, by the way. Kyron Williams, he did tie the second longest game streak with a touchdown, tying Todd Gurley. And this is since 2000, by the way, consecutive games with a touchdown. And if he scores one on Sunday on the ground, will tie Marshall Faulk for longest streak with 6 straight games with a rushing touchdown. Faulk did that back in the day. This is since 2000, though. Some good stuff. Well, obviously, it was back in the day. It was when Marshall Faulk was playing. So, yeah, it's been a bit. All right. Safety, Quentin Lake needs 6 tackles to become the Rams' all-time leader in tackles by a defensive back in the first 3 games of a season. Yeah, I know. It's extremely specific, but it is real. Matthew Stafford, 23 completions to pass Norm Van Brocklin for 7th most in franchise history. Definitely already one of the Rams' best quarterbacks in franchise history. Already solidified himself, obviously, by being able to do this thing with a lot of stuff, a lot of cool pictures and stuff. All right, that is your game preview, 1:25 p.m. on Fox this coming Sunday. Rams home opener hosting the San Francisco 49ers. Should be a fun one, and potential for some depth guys to really pop and explode this time around.